Hey guys, welcome back. This is Dave from mygunvalues.com. And for those of you who've been following the series on the 303 Savage, when I shot that model 1899B, I used up all my ammunition that I had loaded, and I can't find that particular bullet anymore. It appears it's been discontinued, so I'm going to have to go with a new bullet to shoot those guns. So what I'm going to do here, the first thing I'm going to do is show you case trimming. It's real important to keep your cases the right length if you're going to reload, and this seemed like as good a time as any. You have to have a manual, or you have to have the specs. Let's see if I can get this in the... There we go, right there. Okay. This is out of the Lee Reloading Book 2nd edition, to give credit to who it belongs to. And it gives you an overall cartridge case length right here of 2 point, I'm going to have to pull it back out to read it, 2.015 inches. Usually what you do if your casings are getting close to that is you trim them back to say 2.005 inches. You trim 10 thousandths off. These casings had grown. Some of them were too long, some of them weren't, so I just trim them all. So when you're setting this up, you've got this piece here. This is your 30 caliber Pilot. This is a RCBS case trimmer. You've got these pieces right here. These are your shell holders. You have to have the right size shell holder. And they usually one will fit any case that was made with that rim. And then you have to set this up, and I'm going to try to back up here just a skosh so you can see it. Okay. You see these two fittings here? There's Allen screws right here and right here, and you use that to adjust your length. And it's a little bit of trial and error. It's not a set thing. But then when you get done, and I've already trimmed some of these, you should have casings. Let's get out the digital calipers. These are trimming just a little short, but that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything as long as they're all the same. 2 inches on the nose. And I've got about 100 cases or so to do here. These had already been resized. You trim after you run these through the resizing die. You see that one, it didn't take much of anything off at all. And you just, there's a little piece of brass that came off of that one. You just trim. Now you have to chamfer the case mouths too, and I'll show you that as well. I had already done about half of this loading block. Now one thing you have to do with these, at least with mine, I've had some issues with, and notice that one didn't trim anything off at all. The reason you trim cases on these older cartridges that had space on the rim is you still have to crimp these bullets in so the bullet doesn't come loose during recoil. And if all these necks are the same length, or the cartridge cases are the same length, then you don't have to worry about your crimp being different amounts of crimp being applied to the neck and to the bullet. If your crimp varies, your accuracy will suffer. Admittedly, we're talking about a lever action iron-sighted rifle here, so we're not talking extreme accuracy anyway. But they're still capable of, these rifles are probably capable of 3 to 4 inch groups at 100 yards if I do my part. You see, we're not trimming off a whole lot, we're just trying to make them all the same length. And there's a lever over here. This lever I'm pushing down on it to release the tension on that shell holder so I can slide the casings in and out. And then there's the handle over here that you can't see off camera. There's a million different case trimmers out there on the market. There's a lot of powered ones out there. Little Crow has one that seems to get some pretty doggone good reviews. A friend of mine has one. The only issue is you have to spend $68 per cartridge type setup. And with this one, you don't have to spend quite that much, so. But those powered case trimmers are handy. You don't wear your hands out as much. So I'm going to finish these up. And as soon as I get these done, whoa, that one's stuck. There we go. As soon as I get these done, I will bring you back and I'll show you a couple of different ways to chamfer the cases. And again, these won't be the only ways, but so I'll pause you for now and I'll bring you back here in a few minutes. Okay guys, I'm back. Got all these trimmed. Now I'm going to show you a couple different ways to chamfer these. Here, this is an old Lyman manual tool, and to use it, you simply put it in there, twist, and twist, and that cleans the burrs off of the case mouths. We'll do one more. Here's one with a good burr. Hopefully you can see how wide that looks at the top. That's wide because we got a burr on there. So we'll come in here. Trim it up. See how it cleaned up the edge. Now, these get real tedious real fast doing them by hand. So you see here in the background, several companies make these case prep centers. This one's an RCBS. I bought this back when they were first coming out. I've had it for many years, but several companies make them now. It's electric powered. You flip it on. Right here you have that cleans up the inside. That cleans up the outside. Installed right here, I have a primer pocket uniformer that bores these pockets flat. Now I've already cleaned these primer pockets. And then you have a primer pocket brush right here. On a lever action gun, I don't know that uniforming cleaning the primer pockets matters a whole heck of a lot. That's usually when you're looking for optimum accuracy, and lever guns just by their very nature aren't capable of, being tack drivers. See how much quicker that is to clean up these case mounts. Now, one thing I should mention that I mentioned earlier, that Little Crow drill mounted chamfering tool. That thing will do this step while it's trimming. So that really helps. You know, it does save time. If you're doing the whole thing here. Because the 303 Savage is not loaded by anybody anymore, you tend to use casings, whatever casings. These I purchased, probably 5 years or so, maybe 10 years ago now. I bought a bag of 100, and at the time I only had the one 303 Savage that I was loading for. And that was going to be plenty, because it was actually the rifle my wife went hunting with. My wife can't hunt anymore, so it doesn't get used much. But when these other two 303s came my way, I decided it was time to break these out. And then I also had a friend give me an old box of Winchester 303 Savage brass. You can see right here, 190 grain. That was the original loading. So that's what the sights were set for on these. I don't think Winchester's made 303 Savage brass in at least 30 years. So anyway, you'll keep using this brass a lot longer than maybe some others, just because you have to hand load for the 303. Nobody I'm aware of loads the ammunition for it. There may be some specialty shops, but none of the big factories load for it. And so that tray is now chamfered up, and I've got that box of 20 Winchesters I'm going to reuse, and then I've got a box of 46. I've had some split necks. I've got a box of 46 here I still need to resize. So, and then I need to do these steps also. So I'm going to reset the camera. I'm going to start resizing these other brass, because there's something I want to show you on the press called a toggle over. So I'll be right back as soon as I reset everything. Okay, got these in a loading tray. As you guys have watched our other videos know, I prefer the spray lube made by Hornaday. For those of you who don't know or might be new to hand loading, you have to lubricate bottleneck rifle cases, or you'll end up with a case stuck in the die, and it's a guaranteed way to ruin a die. So now what I wanted to show you was, if you look real carefully right here, you'll see the bottom of the sizing die sticking through the bottom of the press. When you bring this up, the case slides into it, and you'll see right here the shell holder is touching the bottom of that die. If you listen, that last little bit is what's called a toggle over. You toggle the press handle over. And the reason I'm doing that, now that I have 3 different guns shooting the same cartridge, it's imperative that all 3 go back into the chambers. So by toggling over, you reset those case necks back to their original dimensions. I'm going to see if I can get this to show up on camera. I don't know if I can. Let me set them down here. It's going to be tough to see. With the naked eye, I can sit here and see that they've been reseated. Now, something else I've had happen with these, we'll see if this will show up on camera. there is a little split in the case neck right there. I've had about 6 or 8 of these do this on the first or second firing. So when that happens, they get chucked in the recycling bin. So it's something to keep an eye on. I don't know why I'm having the issue. Seems to be one particular rifle that does it. But anyway, this is pushing those necks back and the shoulders back to their original, or as close to their original dimensions as we can get them. That hopefully will get this gun, or get this so this ammunition will chamber in all 3 guns without any problem. So that's all there is to that. I'm inspecting each one as I pick it up, looking for those split necks. So far that's the only one I've come across out of this batch of ammunition. There's one. And sometimes I wonder if these, because some of these were really, really long, I wonder if these necks weren't split or weren't too long right out of the factory. If you put a neck in so it's pinched, when you chamber it in the rifle, the pressure's got to go somewhere, and it may very well bulge the case neck and rupture it. I've got a 30-06 that happened to me on, shooting cast bullet practice loads a few years ago. And this is the 3rd reloading for all of this brass, other than that box of Winchester, which I don't know if that's ever been reloaded. So that's all I wanted to show you, was just the toggle over. That way we're seating those necks and shoulders back as far as we can. The drawback to doing that is if you're only shooting for one rifle, it does work hard in the brass a little bit more, so I don't tend to do it unless I have to do it. So when I get all these sized and trimmed and everything, in the next part we will we'll be loading some 180 grain Spear mag tip bullets. Those were the closest thing I could come up with to the original 190 grain round nose that the Savage used to shoot. So we'll go ahead and do this, and I'll bring you back and we'll load a few on our next episode on the reloading side of our channel here. For now, I want to thank you for watching. I encourage you to contact us through the mygunvalues.com webpage, or you can certainly contact us here on YouTube. Leave a comment, and if there's anything you'd like to see or you'd like to know about. Thanks for watching.